Welcome everyone to Late Night Restaurant Show. Do I sound stressed?
Do you? You never sound stressed.
Welcome everyone to the Late Night Restaurant Show, live at the Chicago show.
Mhm.
Charlie, it is so great to see you here. Thank you again for jumping in. I was blown away when I saw you.
Jay, I always got time for you.
You always got time for
I
it?
always got time for you.
You see, we gotta, enjoy the moment today.
100%.
Two Alberta boys hanging in Chicago at the National Restaurant Association show, podcasting at the entrance, and Starbucks is behind me.
Right? It's what dreams are made of.
I know, like this one doesn't get better, really. Does
Totally. It's always nice to run into Canadian content when you're down here in the States in such a, in Canada, we're a big fish in a small pond, and you come here and, you're a minnow in a lake. So, when you see people, there's something great about it.
Absolutely. So Food Service Solutions, you guys are here, got a booth.
Absolutely.
What are you guys doing?
So, for those that don't know us, we're a commercial equipment distributor.
Yep.
We're a team of chefs, and our goal, make smarter kitchens. And we've had a tremendous amount of success on the Canadian side. And some of our manufacturers said, listen, with what you're doing in Canada, we'd love to have you rep us in the U.S.
That's
and
huge.
It's our second time at NRA, and the market's growing, our team's growing, and it's good times.
That's awesome. Awesome. So you had you even had a chance to walk around?
You know what? A little.
Okay.
I mean, listen, with the cost and the amount of work that's involved in running a...
You guys have no small booth.
No.
It's huge.
It's for 4 brands of what we're showcasing. It's a big deal. We've got a lot of team members. There's a lot of moving parts. We have a full kitchen setup. We're doing 4 live cooking stations.
Each edge was a live station.
Totally. So we have 4 brands here that we're distributing in the U.S. So each station is live cooking. As a team of chefs, we don't want to just showcase equipment. We want to show people how to be successful with it. So everything's live in the back. We've got a dish pit. We have, staff back there keeping us going. It's a real deal operation here.
Isn't that awesome?
We love it. It's what we do. It's part of who we are as a company. We don't hire salespeople. We hire chefs.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
We showcase what we do, and we do it live.
Well, I think that's what I noticed even going up to your booth on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what day it is.
I know, right?
It's like it's all blurred. So, but Saturday came up, and you could feel that presence. It wasn't not dissing the other 2,999 other or 98 other.
It's amazing that you know that.
I know that. Well, I had to do commercials.
Fair enough.
So I do know how many people are here, but it's a different feeling when you have chefs showcasing products. It really is.
100%. Our president, Chris Kohler, had a really...
And he was cool.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's a cool dude.
100%. Like, totally approachable.
Not a plug.
Yeah.
Not a plug. Not a brownie.
But you know what? It's been the company's go-to-market strategy since day one.
Yeah.
It's about chefs. It's about we've walked the walk. We understand. We can relate to the experience of chefs and operators. We have test kitchens across North America now. So it's all about really showing people not just what our equipment can do, but how to be successful with it. And what better than having chefs show them how it's done.
So let's humanize a little bit of your brand with you.
Sure.
How long have you been in the industry, Charlie?
I've been in the industry. I'm 47 and I started at 19. So if I have to quickly do the math,
I got
28
years. I got a couple more on you.
You don't look it at all.
No, not years, but years in the industry.
Fair enough.
Right?
Well, again, that can weather you more than age. So you never know. But
True.
It's been an interesting career. It's never been kind of one directional. It's been a lot of different things. But I've now been with Food Service Solutions for 5 years. And
nice.
What's funny is, a lot of us who have excelled in the industry, especially front of house, always get offered sales opportunities and different things. And I thought I'd really be a lifer. And when the opportunity presented itself with Food Service Solutions and the fact that I still get to engage the industry, but be on the sales side, maybe have a little bit more work-life balance.
Yeah.
It was an easy decision at the time to make. And in all fairness, for the last 5 years, I've been telling myself, why didn't I do it sooner?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about your cooking.
Sure.
Because you're a chef.
You know what? I'm not, I know.
No, don't even say you do because you're not a chef because you don't have papers.
But here's the thing.
I know, but that's not true. I think you are.
Listen, absolutely chefs can develop in the industry. Not everybody has to get a formal education.
No, I know some of the greatest chefs that don't have that.
The reason I do it, and I'll be honest with you, my colleagues are all veteran chefs. They're, and in some cases, decorated chefs.
Yeah.
Some of our colleagues have been Culinary Team Canada for years.
Yep.
And I understand the work and all the things that come with being a chef in the industry. And I haven't done that for the majority of my career. I bounced from kitchen to front. I spent the bulk in the middle of my career in front of house as a F&B
Did you go
director.
front of house?
I started in the kitchen. I ended up going front of house.
I think we lived a parallel life.
You know,
Seriously.
we kind of, you know, there's so much about us that makes us feel that we're maybe brothers from another mother. But yeah, you know what? I spent a bulk of it wearing a suit, F&B director, GM.
Yeah.
And then I found myself at kind of the tail end of my career, at least this stage of it, coming rotating back into the kitchen. But I loved it. For some reason, it just seemed a natural progression to go front of house. So when I say I'm not like your quintessential chef, it's about the fact that I respect those who have spent the 20 plus years doing that and what it takes. And that wasn't my experience. So I don't want to give myself a title and put myself on that same parallel stage where they really took the time to earn it.
Well, I think also is that, I think the chefs respect that. Like, I think chefs do, right?
I think it's an earned title.
Yes.
And if you don't put in your dues, I don't feel like it's something that you can just give yourself. You can't just put it on a business card. Adorable. Look at that.
Did you see who that is?
Carla Hall.
Yeah.
Food Network?
I might win.
Really? Muzzles. Good for you. Mazel tov, my friend. That's amazing. You're the shit. Good for you. Good for you.
We're not cutting that out.
Okay.
That's what we do in late night, because a late night show, I don't know if you know that we even have pee breaks once in a while.
You know,
we're getting older.
You are only human. You are only human.
We had a pee break the other day because Dominic was talking. I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom, dude.
You know what? These things happen.
Yeah, and he just kept talking. And then all of a sudden I come back and he's talking. I'm like, did you even know I left?
the magic of podcasting.
Exactly.
Good for you.
So F&B, front of the house.
Sure.
What draws you into this industry? What is the draw? Like that's the key is, don't tell me that you liked it. See, I know that. That's your DNA.
Liking it gets you into it.
Yes.
Liking it doesn't keep you in it. Nobody rides the road for 20 years doing something if it's just because I got into it because I liked it.
What is it? What is it?
I think it's part of the DNA.
But you could do anything.
I
You're
went to university, man. I have a degree in economics.
I have a degree in art.
You know, if it was up to my mother, I'd be an accountant right now. You know, but I gravitated to it. You know, my father was a hotel guy. He was a GM.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was an industry guy. By the time I grew up, he was kind of out of that game. But you know, I don't know if it's a cultural thing or a DNA thing, but it was, as a kid, you could kind of notice I had a little bit of the gift of the gab, and maybe some of that skill set was lost being in the kitchen. I don't know if that helped me gravitate to front of house and spend a long career in it. But it felt right. You know, I'm really happy I got a formal education. I think it really provides a perspective into the industry that people who don't get that education.
Well, I have the same thing. So I have a degree I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts, right?
There you go.
Same thing. I went to university. I earned my degree there too. I think it's the work ethic. I think a little bit of the way that we look at things and how we solve problems.
100%.
It comes from that experience at university, right?
Right.
Because there's a lot, and also the ability to multitask, deal with stress. There's a connection, I think, within our industry.
You know, I felt like whether it was my DNA or my life experience, it felt like the place I needed to be. I have no problem with the education, everything leading up to it. I think it helped give me more tools to navigate and be successful in the industry. But it always felt right. And then when it didn't, I made that change.
Yeah.
But it took over 20 years to get to that point where I felt like it was time to do so. And, you know, marriage and, you know, your personal life also obviously plays a role in your professional decisions.
Are you living in Drumheller?
I'm not living there.
Just south.
I'm south of Drum. It's like an acreage.
It's gorgeous.
I'm about an hour outside of Calgary, but in all fairness, I still bounce back and forth. We have a place in Edmonton.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So, you know, I manage the province of Alberta for our company. So, you know, there's a lot of windshield time.
Yeah.
But no, I bounce back and forth. It all depends on where I need to be and when I need to be there. So I have, I'm really fortunate, thanks to my wife's side and the family, that we have property down in southern Alberta.
Oh, it's
So I'm,
beautiful.
I'm
Your
not always in a
pictures,
hotel.
your pictures when you post stuff
Thanks, man.
are awesome, dude.
You
Seriously.
know what? Talking about the change coming out of the industry and being on the sales side now, we talked about work-life balance, and I think that plays a huge role in it because the industry can be stressful. Living in the city has a different vibe to it.
Yeah.
I just got to the point in my life where I like being in the city to do what I need to do for work, restaurants, all the things that come with an urban lifestyle. But when I'm down there and I can break away from the city and get out to the country, it's such a calming thing. It's quiet, it's peaceful. We're in farm country, about 20 minutes south of Drum.
It reminds me of home.
Yeah, for me, I grew up in Toronto, but for my wife, she spent a lot of time out there as a kid. So
Southwest Saskatchewan. You're close to my home.
Fair, yeah. Listen, I'm an hour and a half from the border of Saskatchewan, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it really plays a role in work-life balance, and at this stage in my life, a little bit of peace and quiet does the body a lot of good.
I think when you talk to companies and we find people like yourself in the companies that share that little bit about your life in the perspective of humanizing brands, and you see that today, and I have seen the opposite here as well, is how brands don't really have a human connection.
Sure.
And I think what you're doing, Charlie, and your posts and what you guys do, and your president and everyone else that really fosters that humanized brand. I felt it when I went there. I feel it when I talk to you. And that is, I think, a big part of your guys' success.
I appreciate that.
I really do. And I feel I'm being sincere.
Yeah.
There's no plugs here.
No smoke.
There's no smoke, right? But I just really see that. And I always want to call companies out that do that.
Sure.
Because we need to do more of it. Because through the 70s and 80s and 90s and the early 2000s, we felt that we had to be someone different. And you guys don't do that.
Well, it's nice of you to say and nice of you to recognize. I appreciate it coming from you because I know how engaged you are with the industry and how many businesses you come across and speak to.
Yeah.
So no, that's really nice to hear. But again, going back to Chris and the philosophy of our company, that's he wanted that relatability and that human connection to our customer base. Because we've been there, we've done it. We understand your pain points, we understand your challenges, and it creates that human connection. When we do demonstrations and stuff on our equipment, we have a real philosophy. We want to obviously convey features and benefits, and the wonderful things these things can do for your business. But at the end of the day, when it's coming from someone who's walked the walk and talked the talk, it translates differently. It's absorbed differently. And as I said before, we want people not to just buy our stuff. We want them to be successful with it. That's how we've been able to create business retention, word of mouth, and it's a huge benefit to the business. That human connection helps us enjoy the job more because we get to deal with a lot of different chefs, a lot of different operators in all levels of food service.
Yeah.
So whether we're engaging a QSR or we're engaging a hotel or fine dining restaurant, there's something in our lineup that suits their needs. But from all of us with our team, we have such diversity in our experience and we meet as a team every single week. Not in person, we're spread out across North America, but virtually we talk every week, we share stories, we share experiences, and it helps us develop as people and develop as chefs and salespeople. So it's an amazing recipe that's working really well for the company.
That's how Canadians show up.
More Canadians?
I said that's how Canadians show up.
Canadians show up. Sorry, there's people all rocking around. Like, who's here? Who's here?
Yeah, we say Canadians and people jump out. Do you know so and so? That's what they always say.
Totally.
And you do. That's a scary
we're
thing.
We're a tenth of the population, but we're like, we're big space.
I always say is that we sometimes show up late to the party, but we show up the loudest.
It's a nice way. That's a nice way to put it. But it's being down here and again, just the volume of booths, the volume of people. And you're always constantly engaging. When you have that little moment where you see someone you recognize or somebody from your back, it's lovely moments amidst like a lot of work and a lot of other engagement at the show for sure.
Well, Charlie, it's great seeing you here. Thanks again
Jay,
for the late night restaurant show live in Chicago. How nuts is that? I get goosebumps saying it.
You know what? I have been speaking with you and working with you and crossing paths with you for years and seeing the development in what you're doing. Was not that long ago. We were crossing paths at the Restaurants Canada show. And seeing you now here at NRA. Maybe next year we'll cross paths at NAFM.
Well, we're coming back.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, as I see your brand and all the different things you're doing growing, I'm always pleased to be invited to join in on it. And it's great to see a colleague, really grow a part of this market for our industry and creating a voice that I think it's a space that needed filling. Yeah. And it's so nice to see you doing that.
I love it, man.
Appreciate
awesome.
you.
Enjoy your time here.
Thank you.
There you
Thanks for having me.
Done.